Hello everyone out there in internet land. This is Jeremy Gledhill. I am an account manager here at New Dawn Technologies. For those of you who have worked with me before, I'd like to give a shout out to you. For those of you who don't know me, I hope to get to know you better. My job as an account manager is to try to get to know most of you as much as I can and help you out as much as I can. I'm not a salesman or anything like that. My job is to help you as much as I can accomplish the tasks that you want to accomplish with JustWare. So today, our demonstration is going to consist of learning about eDocs, or document scanning, I should say, in JustWare. There is a new feature that came out in the newest version of JustWare 5.7. So we're going to cover the basics of scanning. I know many of you out there already have document scanning licenses, so this will be probably an a review for you. There's not going to be much new in this for you guys, but for those of you who don't have document scanning, it is a separate license that you have to buy, but it's not very expensive, and like I said, I'm not a salesman, so I'm not here to sell you document scanning today, but at least you can see what it does, what its usefulness will be, and hopefully you can see a way to implement it in your offices or agencies. So hopefully that this webinar is beneficial to you. We have people chatting on this webinar, so feel free to chat in your questions as we go throughout the webinar. So if you have any questions or anything, just chat it up with us. Also, once the webinar is over, please feel free to email us or call us about any questions you may have. If you do want to get some document scanning licenses, let us know. Like I said, we're not trying to push anyone into this today, but just so you know, it is required for everything that I'm showing you today. So let's just dive in. As you can see on my screen here, I've just logged into JustWare, and this is a special instance I created just for myself called Germ Zone. So you'll see that there is a few quirkiness things with my instance, but that's just the way it is. I've got awesome characters in there like Darth Vader and Han Solo and all sorts of different characters. So we'll use it to demonstrate. So the way we get into document scanning is we scroll down to the bottom under our utilities, and you should see a document scanning utility, and this is if you have purchased the document scanning functionality. If you've purchased it and you don't have this option, definitely contact us so we can get the document scanning working for you. Under utilities, just click on document scanning. It brings you into this document scanning page. You notice it's not a very complicated page. There's very few options on here, so it's pretty straightforward in terms of scanning documents into JustWare. There's a few fields on here. We've got the case field, the name field, and then a couple different default settings for when we're importing our document into our different filing cabinets. So this is what we're doing here is we are taking a document that we have and we're going to scan it directly into a filing cabinet of either a name record or a case record. So if I wanted to scan this document into a case for Homer Simpson, I can do a search for Homer. Notice Homer's got a couple cases in here. I can pick the case that I want to scan this document into and click on the hyperlink here, and it fills in his case at the top, so we know we are scanning these documents into Homer Simpson's case. Same thing goes with names. I can type Homer in here. We got Homer Simpson as his name record, so I can just select his name record here, and we will scan documents into Homer Simpson's name record. So you have those options to select their name or their case. You also have the option, I'm just going to exit out of document scanning here, while you're in a case to go to the document scanning screen. So I just did a quick search for Homer. I'm going to open up one of his Fighting the Honey Badger cases. And while we're on his case, what we're going to do is we're going to select document scanning. So we have Homer Simpson's case open. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click on document scanning. Since I am on Homer Simpson's case, you notice it automatically populated the case field in the top with Homer Simpson's case. So if you're working on a case or working on name record, you have to scan in a document, you just click on document scanning, it automatically populates the case or the name in here, and you can continue to go forward with doing your document scanning. Pretty straightforward. You only have two options in terms of scanning the document to a name or a case. So let's go ahead and scan this document to Homer Simpson's case. Why not? So we have document types down here below. Notice I made a document type called scan document. You can make whatever you want in terms of your document types. but I decided to make one called scan document, so I know that this document was scanned into his case. You can also set document statuses depending on your agency. Sure, the scan document is posted as a status, or whatever different statuses you need to use. You can also pick different agency types or agencies for the document. These are all just default settings, so when you're scanning the document in, you don't have to fill all of it in later. We also have the option to format the document. There's only a couple of different formats here available. You have a GIF, a JPEG, OCR, PDF, PDF, PNG, and TIFF. Most of these formats are for photos or for full color type documents. The most common document types that we have seen in the filing cabinet are either going to be Word documents, PDFs, or JPEGs. So the options that you have in here that you'd use the most commonly would either be a PDF or a JPEG. And since I just have a document that I want to scan, I'm just going to use PDF since I don't have a picture. It's actually just more of a Word document, a simple document. PDF is most common. I'm just going to say it's a PDF document. Once you select your document, you have a few options down here below to deskew. Deskew is a function if you load your document in crooked, or if it gets pulled through crooked, that it will try to deskew it. This works most of the time, but not all the time. It's a wonderful little software piece in there that's trying to figure out if it's skewed or not, and it'll try to deskew it. So I always have that checked to deskew just to see if anything needs to be cleaned up in my scan. And then we also have the Save When Scan is Complete option here. This means if I click this box and I scan in a document, it's automatically going to save it and put it right in the filing cabinet. So you don't really have a review process in this instance if you say Save When Scan is Complete. So I'm going to uncheck Save When Scan is Complete because I want to be able to review this document before I actually save it out on Homer Simpson's case to make sure that it's scanned in all right. The scanner that I'm using here is a little Xerox travel scanner. It's a little puny scanner that is USB powered. So it does all right. I haven't done any calibration or anything on it, so we'll see how well it does in our scanning today. It's a portable one that we always use for demonstration, and it gets the job done. But in most of your offices, you'll probably use form feeder scanners where you can actually feed, have a document feeder, and the scanners are usually higher quality, already calibrated and everything. But this scanner gets the job done. Scanners that are compliant with our software have to be TWAIN scanners, TWAIN. And the reason being is because that is a generic or a widespread driver that we can use. So pretty much every scanner out there, I want to say all the ones I've ever seen typically have a TWAIN driver that you can use when installing the scanner. And that makes it compatible with JustWare. It also makes it compatible with a lot of different programs out there that want to use scanning. So TWAIN is what you want to look for. Like I said, not typically, it's not very rare. It's very common. So this scanner I have here is TWAIN compliant. I installed the TWAIN driver. So when I scan my documents, it will work perfectly with JustWare. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Scan. You notice I have a dialog box that pops up here. This dialog box is specific for your scanner. So you notice that this says the Xerox TS100 on the top here, and it doesn't have very many options for you with the scanner. Depending on the scanner you use will depend on how many options you have here when you're scanning in your document. Some of the higher end ones give you a lot more options. This one's a little bit lower end one, so you don't have a lot of options here. But it still gives you deskew options. You can pick black and white or grayscale, etc. I'll just leave mine with the settings it's got here. So I'm just going to hit scan and let the document get pulled into the scanner here. So now my scanner's doing its little business over here, scanning in my document. It's not a very quick one either. I know some of you have these scanners that can just pull documents through really quickly. So you'll get tons of documents into your listing here. So you can see we have a scanned document that just came in here, and I scanned it in as a PDF, so it saved it as a PDF file. So if I click on the file here, it will open it up. I opened it on my other screen. So notice we've got a police report for Homer Simpson in here. Not a lot of information on here, but you get the gist. This is a Fighting the Honey Badger police report for Homer Simpson. It's got a little bit of information on it. So we want to save this police report into Homer Simpson's case. I'm going to exit out of here so we've got his document here. Before we hit save, notice I haven't hit save yet, so no document has gone into Homer Simpson's case yet. I can name it what I want. Oops, keep hitting the wrong keys. So it's called a police report. Definitely we want to name it that. So we have our police report. You notice we have a few options down here below. Copy to related cases. If Homer Simpson's case has any related cases and we want this police report to show up on those cases as well, we can click copy to related cases. I don't think this particular case does, but just in case it does, let's have it copy out to all those related cases. If he has a co-defendant or something like that and we want this document to get pulled into the co-defendant's case, this will automatically do that for you. You can type any notes as well in your document. You can say who it's filed by, and this will add a document involved person if you want a document involved person. And then these other agency types and things like we mentioned before where you can specify that up above or down here below. And so the more you specify up here at the top, the less you have to specify down here below. Once it's down here below, you can still change the document types and things. So it really depends on how much time you want to save yourself with setting yourself up for these document scans. So now that I've scanned the document, I've got it the way I want it, I double check the document to make sure it pulled in correctly or it looks good. So now I'm going to hit save or Control S. Oh, notice I made a boo-boo. I didn't select the document. So just in case you scanned a few in here and some of them don't look very good, you have the option to select or deselect certain documents. So let's say we made the document scanned, we double checked it, it didn't look good, so we scanned it again and it looked better the second time. We can select the one that we want. So now that I selected it, if I hit save, it will save it to my case. So notice the document's gone here from our document scanning menu in the bottom. We come here to Homer Simpson's case and go to the filing cabinet. We're going to have to hit refresh here so that it shows up on here. So let's hit refresh. And there we go. The police report shows on here. It's got a document status of posted. So this is the document that we just scanned in here. Pretty straightforward. Let's look at another couple different options here. So I'm just keeping the settings the same. We have Homer Simpson's case still selected at the top. Let's change the format though to OCR PDF. I'll load the document in here and get it scanning before I start explaining really what this is going to do, since the scanner's not very quick here. So I hit scan just like I did before, keep all the settings the same. But I changed the format. The format was OCR PDF. OCR stands for Optical Character Recognition. So when I'm scanning this document in here, when it saves it, it's actually going to try to recognize any characters on the screen, and it's going to make them selectable. So the previous document we had doesn't have the text or anything on the screen selectable. Let me demonstrate that for you here. I'm going to go back to the previous document that we just scanned called the police report. I'm going to open it up here. It keeps opening up on my other screen. Let's try to select some text here. It doesn't really give us any way of selecting specific text or anything. It just notices the whole page as one big image. But now that I scanned it in as OCR PDF, we'll go back here and open up the scanned document. Move it back to our other screen here. If I try to select any of the text, notice I have a cursor now, and it's actually picking up the text off of the screen. So let's select all the text on here. Right-click and say copy. I'm actually going to copy the text. I'm going to open up my notepad, just as an example here, and paste the text in there. So I just hit paste in the notepad, and notice it kept all of the text from the document, and it allowed me to copy and paste it out of the document. This is really handy if there's certain verbiage or things that you want to copy and paste off of a document into the case, whereas you don't want to scan the whole document into the case. Or if there's different things that you want to scan in and then change and then save as notes or something on the case. Pretty slick and easy way of pulling text off of a page. You can see I just copied and pasted all this text off. So that's the OCR PDF, and I just selected that as an option here. So we have PDF and OCR PDF. These other ones, like I mentioned before, are more for images or pictures. So if you have a full color picture that you want to scan in, you'd probably want to use JPEG in that instance. Let's look at these other options down here in the bottom left. For those of you that have document scanners that have feeders in them, you can actually say, hey, I want to scan a couple documents in here at the same time. So you can say, if I have a document feeder, I want them all to be scanned into one single document. So although there's 5 pages coming through here, I want it to all show up in one document. Or you can stick blank page separators in there, so we'll recognize, hey, that was a blank page, so I want to separate that into another document. So if you've got 5 pages you want to scan in, if you put a blank page between them and stick them in your document scanner, it'll actually show up as 5 documents down here below when your scanning is finished, because it used those blank pages as separators. Or the other option you can use here is to say every one page is a separate document. So you've got 5 pages in here, or 5-page document, you know each one is separate, so you can say, hey, every page, separate the document out. I can't really demonstrate that because my little scan here doesn't have a form feeder. I have to hand load each page. But if you integrate this with your copy machines in your office, or if you buy little scanners to use, they typically have, you know, those form feeders so you can drop a bunch of documents in there. Alright, and that basically concludes all of the scanning functionality in this document scanning section. When you do purchase a document scanning license, you also get the document redaction tool, or the PDF and image editor, and that's what I'm going to cover next. So I'm going to get into what the PDF and image editor is. So the way you get into that is I just click into this document name area here where you can rename your document. And you notice that there's a little highlighter button here. That highlighter button opens the PDF and image editor, or the redaction tool is what we like to call it. And it opened on my other screen here. Let's go ahead and drag it over. You notice in the top left corner it says PDF and image editor. We have a few different options to do on this PDF and image editor. We can do redacting, we can highlight, or we can notate. So let's say we want to redact or hide some of the information on this police report. We have a few different color options here. I'm going to go ahead and select black. Black is a nice dark color. So I'm going to cover up all of his identifying information. Let's say that we needed to cover that up for some reason. Alright, let's say we redacted that. Let's redact the arresting officer as well. We'll do that one in green. Why not? Now we redacted the arresting officer. Let's say we want to highlight the... Oops, I have to hit escape once you're finished with your redacting. I'm going to highlight the criminal felonies. Let's use yellow here and highlight criminal felony. Alright, so now we've highlighted that up at the top. And let's say we want to add a note. So let's do a note at the bottom. Let's make the background light yellow as well. It already says this is a note in here because I typed one in earlier. We'll just leave this as a note. Why not? This is a note down here at the bottom. So now that we have typed this in here, we have a few options to save. Now you need to remember, do we want to have 2 copies of this document, one that has not been edited and one that has been edited, or do we just want a redacted only copy? If you want a redacted only copy, you can just exit and save and it will overwrite the one that we just scanned in. But if you want to save the original one and have a copy, then we need to actually go to File, Save Copy, and there's a Save Copy option up here, and we're going to say as a PDF, which is what it started out as. So I said Save Copy as PDF. So it made a copy for us as PDF. So now if we exit here, we have 2 documents now in here, one called Scan Document and one called Scan Document 2. They put in a document type of unknown, so let's just say we want this to be Scan Document again. So now if we look at Scan Document, this one is unedited still. And if we look at Scan Document 2, let's open this one up. This one has our wonderful redactions on here. It's got beautiful colors we decided to add and our notes and things on here. So this is the redacted copy. Exit out of here. So now we can hit save and we'll have both copies saved to our filing cabinet, the redacted and the non-redacted. So if that was the case, we could do this report here. And we'll do police report redacted here. Alright, so we've got an edited police report and a police report that's not been edited. So that's a really easy tool to use to make quick edits to your documents. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, I made the same mistake. Notice I keep doing this over and over again. So we have to select the documents before we save them. We want to save both of them because they both look great. Now if we go to Homer Simpson's case here, we hit refresh. Notice we have two police reports in here because we scanned one in here before, and now we scanned it in here again, so we can have the same name, added a 2 to the newest one. So we'll just leave it that way. But you can see, quick and easy way, scanning things in, editing them, saving them to the filing cabinet, all with inside JustWare. So you don't have to leave JustWare, you don't have to use any other software. You can just do it all in JustWare, pretty quick and easy process. So you may be thinking, well, what if I'm not in the scanning tool, but I also want to redact files in my filing cabinet, or there's files already in here that need to be edited? Well, if you do have the license, you also get this view called Filing Cabinet with Copy. It's called with copy because this is how you can make copies with edits to them. I'm going to click on Filing Cabinet with Copy, and it's just going to open up our filing cabinet here. And notice we have the redaction tool just like we had in the scanning portion. So if I click inside of the document name here, that little highlighter button shows up. So I can make edits to anything in the filing cabinet inside this redaction tool. This one hasn't been edited or anything, but this is how you can get to the redaction tool from the filing cabinet. And if you don't want to have the filing cabinet with copy view, we can actually integrate this highlighter portion into your tab details view or any other views that you may have with the filing cabinet. We can incorporate that redaction tool into that view so that you have a quick, easy access to the redaction tool. You don't have to switch your view to the filing cabinet with copy view in order to make redactions. But the benefit of having that extra view is you may be able to just give certain access to certain people that need to be able to redact and take it away from others that you don't want redacting information or making changes to documents. So that's just a quick overview of the document redacting tool and the PDF and image editor. It's called both. So what we've covered so far is the document scanning here, and we've covered the redaction tool. Now I mentioned before there's a new feature in JustWare 5.7 that came out. That's going to be the final thing I'm going to talk about today, and it is called the document to case feature. Now you may be thinking, well, what is that all about? Well, I'm going to demonstrate that for you. So I'm going to close out of these sessions here real quick. We're just going to come back to our document scanning here. And I'll exit out of here too. So we'll just start from fresh. So the whole point of this document to case feature is what if you get documents handed to you that you have to then import into JustWare? Well, the whole point of this is to make that job easier. So I'm going to go into document scanning. In order to get this feature to work, you have to have a case or a name record that you're using as kind of a mediator between the cases you're going to create. So I created a name record called scanned document. And this will all make more sense as we go throughout the demonstration here. So I made a name record called scanned documents in here. The reason we have this name record of scanned documents is we can scan multiple documents right now into the name record of scanned documents. And then once we go into that name record, we can then transfer or create cases from the documents that we have scanned. So I called this scanned documents. Let's go ahead and scan the document in here. The one that we love, Homer Simpson. I'm going to go ahead and hit scan. Let it chug away here. So what we're going to do is, this is a police report that I keep scanning in here. Let's say we get a paper police report and we need to put this police report or create a new case from this police report. So that's what this feature gives you. So now that we have the document scanned in here, and like I mentioned before, if you have a pile of documents, you can scan in the whole pile. I'm going to select this document so I don't mess up again in front of all you guys. Hit save, and now that document has been saved to this name record, Scan Documents. So now I'm going to go to this name record called Scan Documents. It's open in Tab Details View, and you can see there's only one document in here, which is the one that we just scanned in. We have a view that we created, which is in 5.7, called the Documents to Case View, or Document to Case View. I'm going to switch to the Document to Case View. And just so you know, I'm showing this as a demonstration, so this isn't a mistake on my part. But you can see there's nothing showing up in here. The reason there's nothing showing up in here is because you need to actually have the document in there as a locked document. The purpose of that is because if you are relying on that document to put information into a new case or into a new name record, you need that document to be unedited. so that you know in the future someone's not going to come in here and make some changes and then your case and the document that you built the case off of don't match. It's going to raise some eyebrows. So if we go back to the tab details view, we can lock the document. And I made a document type for this specific case called document to case. So if I make it as a document to case document type, it will lock the document that we can then use to build the case off of. So I'm going to hit save on this. And now if I go to the document to case view, you'll see that we have a beautiful document in here of Homer Simpson. So now it pulled in our document. We got our police report. It's got all the information on here. And on the right here, we have a bunch of different fields and snap-ins that we can start creating a case from. We're going to say this is a case type of criminal felony. It is open. We can do a name search for Homer Simpson. Now if I select Homer Simpson here, it will populate all of his name information in there. So let's say that this isn't the same person. We're just going to say we have a new name. And we'll put him in here as Homer J. Simpson. Hit involve name. You can put other information on here as well, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to use the document to case view to type in all this information. So we have Homer J. Simpson in here now. We have a name record created. Now we can start typing in driver's license state. We're saying he's from Missouri. Driver's license number, we have one in here. Alright, got a driver's license number in here. Let's put in his date of birth. 1979, his gender, he's male. Address type, we have his home address. We have 742 Evergreen Terrace. Don't ask me how I know that. I didn't put a zip code on there. City, we put Springfield. State, we said Missouri. I don't think the Simpsons ever say where they are actually from. Let's say that's active from today. We don't have a phone number, so let's just go back to agency type here, put in court, germ zone, and we can say court number is 12345. His involvement is the defendant. Agency involvement, we can add involvements here, so we can say that there was a, I think I have stormtrooper. Oh, I have judge in here. I think there's a stormtrooper in here as well. Let's see if, yep, Jeremy Gledhill's out here. Alright, we can say what statute he is. I love the honey badger, so fighting the honey badger. We can say that that occurred today, or we can say it occurred yesterday. Sure, yesterday. We can add different charge attributes. So we don't have any charge attributes, so we'll just take that out. So you can see here, we can basically build a case just off of this record. We can add events, we can add case attributes, so we can say that he was, alcohol is involved. I don't think I have any codes here, nope. So drugs, alcohol is involved. Once you have everything typed in here, and there should be a lot of information over here to the left, that's the whole point, you can hit Control-S to save. Now it's saving the document. If you had another document in the filing cabinet, it would pull up here so you could put in the next one. And you just go through all of them until your queue is gone, so you have no more in here. If we go to our tab details view, again, you can see there are no documents in the filing cabinet for scanned documents. And if we go out to Homer J. Simpson, so let's search out for Homer J. Simpson. Notice we have a new case in here for Homer J. Simpson. We created a name record and we created a case. So if we look on his case, we can see the information we put on there. We have his scanned document. It put it into the filing cabinet of this case. We have our agencies and involved parties, so it put the court number in here, put the judge on here. We have our charges on here. You can put notes, events, like I mentioned, to put the stuff in the filing cabinet. So a really quick way to create cases from scanned documents. And it makes a nice queue, so if you come in the morning and someone has 10 pieces of paper on your desk and you're typically creating new ones after new one after new one, you can load them into a feeder, scan them in real quick, and then just use this document to case view and just quickly put those documents into cases and create name records and cases off of those documents. So pretty slick. And like I mentioned, that was the last thing I wanted to show everyone today. So we went through the document scanning tool. We went through the redaction tool, or the PDF and image editor. And then we also went through the new feature in 5.7, which is the document to case feature here, where you can make cases from the documents that you're scanning in. So I hope that this webinar was useful for you. Like I mentioned earlier, if you have questions, feel free to chat them in now. Or feel free to email us or call us. We'd love to demonstrate some of these features with you more closely if you'd like to see them more closely. And as always, we're always up for other ideas. So if you can think of a way, wow, that's pretty neat. What if it could do this or do this? Definitely let us know, because we're always looking for ways to better your workflows and to help you out as much as possible. So thank you for joining us today. We hope that you'll join us in the future.